Hey now. All right, good morning, guys. Happy Saturday. Let's get right to it. Okay. I want to do a training on final expense, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay. I want to run a big campaign this first quarter on final expense and simplified issue. And the main reason why is because, a lot of us are new into the insurance industry. A lot of us, if we're not new into the insurance industry, then we come from a prior company, and more than likely your warm market has already been exhausted. Okay. Um, One thing that I have to acknowledge about the fact that I've been in this business so long is that I have a very, very, very large network. And so because my network is so large, because I planted so many seeds over the last 17, 18 years, I can drum up business. I could stay busy for a month just doing annual reviews. And so I could do that, or I could easily run a campaign on certain topics because I planted so many seeds over the years that I know something will bear fruit. But for the newer agent that maybe doesn't have that huge of a network and is still building their network, um, lead generation is a very good solution. It's a very, very good solution because it provides you quick results. It can provide you access into a new market. But there is a method to making calls with leads. There is a method to lead generation. We're going to talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to go over the scripts and so on and so forth. Okay. If you guys notice, I have this headset on right now. Okay. The reason I have it on is because I want you guys to also understand that there's nothing wrong if you're the kind of person that wants to do telesales. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a final expense company called North Star that does 100% of their final expense sales over the phone. 100% of it simplified, issued over the phone. Everything's over the phone, over the phone, over the phone, over the phone, over the phone. Health insurance agencies are notorious for working telesales, but there are some final expense companies that also work telesales. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're gonna work telesales, I would encourage you to have a fairly good system from an auditory standpoint, because remember, the client's not going to see you, so they're not going to be able to get that personal touch. Everything is going to be over the phone. So investing into maybe a Bluetooth system with some thicker ear coverings is going to be good. Investing into a mic system, right? As you guys can see here, I'm talking on a mic system. Let me make sure that's the mic system that is currently on. Yes, it is. And so this isn't very expensive. This is about a $60 set. It's a JBL audio set that I got from Best Buy. Bluetooth, works very well. This is a set that I got from Amazon. I think that was like $30. It's not terribly expensive, but it definitely allows you to be heard very clearly, and it allows you to hear the client very clearly as well. If you're working from home and you've got kids in the house, you've got dogs in the house, it could get noisy. And so these tend to help a lot. Okay. Let's talk about the psychology of a lead. Okay. For a minute. A lot of people don't understand exactly what a lead is. And a lot of people feel, well, it's exclusive. It's only going to be to me, right? A lead, just so you understand, is the contact information of someone that has filled out a questionnaire of some sort. Okay. Social media has changed the game for lead generation. Back in the day, what people used to do, can you get me, baby girl? I don't know, where is it? Can you give me that little remote right there, please? Back in the day, advertising companies, what they used to do is they used to pick a geographical area where they know that there was a higher potential of senior citizens that were living in that particular area. And then what they would do is they would send via mail, snail mail, questionnaires, right? They would send them, these little slips that they would have to fill out and mail back. And that really became the lead, right? And so that little questionnaire would then get sent to the marketing company, and then the marketing company would sell that little index card, that contact information. And so sometimes if you as the consumer were buying that batch of leads, there was already a 30 to 45 day turnaround. There was already 30 to 45 days that went from when the client saw that little piece of paper, filled out that piece of paper, mailed that piece of paper back. And so the idea of getting a hot real-time lead was far and few between, right? Social media came out afterwards and changed the game. Why? Because social media, right? Because of our amazing Mark Zuckerberg, has the ability to put together algorithms. Have you guys ever typed in on Google something you were searching for? And then after you typed it in, you go to your Facebook, you go to your Instagram, and whatever it is you typed up is being advertised to you for like the next month and a half. It like does not stop, right? What it is your mobile app, right? Facebook, IG, is essentially talking behind the scenes to your Google browser or your Safari browser. It's talking. And so what you type up starts to build, it starts to give data to your social media platform. And based on that data, commercials start to come out based on what you're looking for, right? It's kind of freaky. I'm not gonna lie. There's been times where I've had conversations, verbal conversations with people, and my phone's been around me, and then for whatever reason, coincidentally enough, the next day or the next day after that, what I'm talking about is popping up. It gets you kind of questioning, like, man, how much of my life am I really soliciting out to this mobile device that's next to me all the stinking time, right? But it's a beautiful thing when it comes to lead gen. So what exactly is it? There's marketing companies that'll put together these advertisements. The advertisement could be a picture, it could be a video, but at the end of the day, there's what there is, it's something that's catching the attention of whatever's being solicited enough so that the client, the prospect, okay, can click onto the advertisement and fill out the questionnaire. Once that questionnaire is filled out, the information is then pushed to that lead generation company and then sold. Okay. Now, the idea behind leads nowadays is, if you think about it, 76 million baby boomers are all going through retirement. 76 million baby boomers are leaving their employer. And because they're doing that, the concept of final expense insurance is something that is talked about a lot more often than not. It really is, especially for people in limited income. Middle America, limited income, when they retire, they're surviving on nothing more than their Social Security and maybe $20,000, $30,000 that they happen to have put away in their 401ks. They're very limited on their income. And the one thing they don't want to do is they don't want to burden their family with the cost of paying those funeral expenses or their significant other, their spouses. So what they do is they'll go into Google and they'll type up, funeral insurance, or final expense insurance, or life insurance, or something. Those are the trigger words, so that when they go into their social media platforms, boom, those advertisements pop up. They're like, oh man, this is what I'm looking for. They fill out the questionnaire, right? So the companies that we're working with, right? Let's just say, for example, Rob, right? Rob Rawl decides, hey, I'm gonna buy a batch of real-time leads, right? When he's making this order, he's basically telling this marketing company, I want you to build me an advertisement. I want this advertisement to be in this county. I want the advertisement to go within a 25-mile radius of the county that I selected. Okay. And I want the leads, as the people to fill out those questionnaires, I want those leads to be dropped into my CRM. All right. I want them to drop into my CRM or into my email in real time. I don't need that 45-day lag. I need a 1-day, 2-day lag at best, but I want them to come in at real time. So if I'm buying 20 of them, when you purchase these 20, there aren't 20 people that have filled out the questionnaire yet. There's not. What there is there's an order for someone to build the advertisement within that area with regards to that particular topic. And then all of a sudden you're going to be waiting for those 20 people to fill out those questionnaires so that you could capture their information, right? Pro and con, right? A good marketing company will have 7 to 10, excuse me. Sorry. A good marketing company will have 7 to 10 qualifying questions in their ad. It's a lot more than just the name, the phone number, the address, right? It's a lot more than that. It's, hey, do you currently have insurance in place? How much life insurance are you looking for? Are we trying to replace insurance? Who's going to be the beneficiary? And then they'll add some random question like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite hobby? The reason they add that random question is because you should be using that question in your script so that they know when you call saying, hey, you inquired about information about life insurance and you mentioned that your favorite color was blue. It should be a trigger to them like, oh yeah, I remember filling out that questionnaire. That's why that random question is there, okay? A good marketing company is going to have 7 to 10 of those qualifying questions. A bad marketing company is just looking to grab the name, the number, and the residential address, right? Now, there's also a thing called autofill with social media. You ever go open up a form on social media and it gives you the option to just automatically grab your information and fill it in, okay? That, in my opinion, is bad, but unfortunately, it's not something we can avoid, right? Some people will accidentally just click yes to the autofill button, and then all of a sudden, boom, all the information is autofilled into the lead and sent off, even though that person isn't necessarily interested in, maybe they were just lightly browsing through the concept. Maybe they were having a conversation with their spouse about leads, but about final expense insurance, but they haven't yet committed. They just kind of, were browsing through. And so sometimes the autofill feature, works to your disadvantage. Sometimes it works to your advantage because let's face it, today we live in a world of speed. People want to be able to get in and get out. So the fact that the person's interested and they hit that autofill button and it captures all their info is not necessarily a bad thing, right? So that's kind of like the basics of how leads work, right? Now, exclusive. When you buy an exclusive lead, you need to understand something. The marketing company you're buying it from has made a commitment to keep it and make that lead exclusive to you for a certain time period. It will eventually be resold. It will. Typically, it's 6 months. Typically, it's 6 months. Some very aggressive companies will give you 30 days, right? Where they're like, look, this lead just came in. It's exclusive to you for 30 days. Work it because after 30 days, we're going to resell it. We're going to do something with it, okay? Here's the thing you need to understand. It's only exclusive from that lead gen company. There's nothing stopping that client from filling out other questionnaires from other advertisement lead gen companies. There's nothing stopping that person. And let's be honest, the moment that person types up on Google life insurance or final expense, they're going to be bombarded with 6, 7, 8 different advertisements, right? Let me ask you guys a question. If you've ever went browsing for something that you were thinking about purchasing, do you purchase it from the first place, the first advertisement that you see? You typically don't. You'll typically, and at least me, whenever I'm browsing for something, like when I was looking into getting a cane Corso for Sandra, when I was looking into buying a motorcycle for myself, when I was looking into getting my kids small dirt bikes, I searched on Google, right? I wanted to know what were the best ones, what was the temperament of the dog, what was the best type of motorcycle for someone like myself that's going from sports bike to cruisers. Like I would do those types of search engines. But then when the advertisements started coming in, I opened up like 6, 7, 8, 10 of these advertisements. And out of the 6, 7, 8 to 10 that I opened, maybe 3 to 4 of them, I actually filled out my information because whatever they were offering was of interest to me. And so I wanted someone to call me and give me some information. I mean, just the way it is. Let me ask you guys something right now. Now, the time of the year, are you getting bombarded with tax services on your social media right now? You should be. I mean, it's the time of year, right? So you're getting bombarded. So why do I say this? Even though you're buying an exclusive lead, I need you to understand something. You can't buy the lead and then put it in your back pocket thinking, oh, nobody's going to call this lead. It's mine. I'll take my time. The moment you do that, you're losing already. You're automatically losing. There's going to be 4 or 5 other agents behind you that are going to be calling that person. And the one that calls them first, the one that calls the most aggressive, the one that's willing to knock on the door is the person that's going to get the sale. It's just the way that it works. So making a commitment to buy the leads is only half the battle. It's 50% of the battle, right? But like ask Kelly, right? She's a teacher. If a student gets a 50%, are they passing? No, they're still failing. right? They're still failing. They still gotta at least get a 70%, right, in order to get a passing grade, right? And so buying the lead is 50% of the battle, but you're still failing. You have to inject urgency, speed. You have to. But I'll tell you another word that I like when it comes to lead gen: persistency. Persistency, right? And here's why. When I work a top 25 list on a warm market, let's say a new agent I bring on board, they put together a top 25 list, or let's just say I'm meeting with a client and they give me 10 referrals on a list. Okay, the activity that I need to do on that list is very different than the activity I need to do on a lead list. Very, very different. The activity on a warm list is that every call, every phone number should probably get 3 to 4 calls. Most aggressive would be 5 calls before you give up, right? 3 to 4 is average. 5 if you really want to be aggressive. After 5 calls, that's it, no more. When you're working a warm list, you could probably call that list twice a day if you're going to be aggressive. Once a day if you got a volume of leads, like if you've got like, man, I got 50 warm leads, then yeah, once a day, because you got a lot of numbers to call, right? If you got only 20 names, then you should be calling it twice a day, right? That's not the numbers that you should be thinking about when it comes to a lead list. Because again, you need to understand, a warm list is only going to get calls from your number. That person, that number, that name and number that's on that warm list that you received, they didn't fill out a questionnaire anywhere else. Somebody organically gave you their name and number. So you don't have to fear competition behind the scenes. You don't have to fear 4 or 5 other agents that get up a little earlier than you, that make a little bit more calls than you, that decide to knock on the door, faster than you do. You don't have that. So you can call that warm list 3, 4, 5 times at most. For those of you that don't know what a warm list is, it's literally referrals. It's when somebody gives you names and numbers, right? It could be a friend, a family, could be an existing client. At the end of the day, somebody organically gave you this list of names and numbers to call. A lead list, the activity is very different. With a lead list, it's 10 to 15 times. I'm going to repeat it. It's 10 to 15 times. With a lead list, you should call that number 10 to 15 times. And if they don't answer, you got to go knock on their door. You got to go knock on their door afterwards if they don't answer. You should have that blocked off on your calendar as part of your routine of the day, of the week. There needs to be a day. My opinion, best day for that, Saturday afternoons, best day for that. Best day for that. Saturday afternoon, you're done with general training in the morning time. You've had 1 or 2 early morning meetings. You're going to go in the afternoon out, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, boom, go do it. Right? You want to be smart about it. If you've got a couple errands to run, great, go run a couple errands, right? Should you strategically go out? Yes, right? I don't know if MapQuest even exists back any longer, but I would map out, where you're gonna go so that you're geographically gonna go see 4 or 5 of the same 4 or 5 different leads that are in the same neighborhood, right? But yes, you're talking about dialing a number 10 to 15 times, not before you give up, but before you just make a decision to start knocking on that person's door. That's what you're making a decision to do. And then here's the other piece of the puzzle. You're making a commitment to dial 10 to 15 times within the first 7 days that you bought that list. First 7 days. So if you bought the lead list and all of a sudden the leads start coming in on Monday, in your mind, this is what I would be thinking, right? My clock's running out. Time's running out. Time's running out. I got 7 days to call these numbers 10 to 15 times before I knock on this person's door. Because if you I'm going to tell you right now, 100%, if you let 10 days go by, you lost already. Somebody else was more aggressive than you. And that's the way you have to think about it with a lead list. You got to be thinking somebody is behind me. Somebody in my community is behind me that woke up and they're a little bit more aggressive than you. They're a little bit hungrier than you. They're a little bit more desperate to succeed than you. Their why is a little bit more important than yours. So you have to ask yourself, who's going to win? Who's going to get there first? 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 And so that's important to understand, right? Let me give you the statistics, right? Because that's so important. That's also important to know. For every 20 exclusive leads that you buy, okay, you should get, if you work it the way I explained it, 10 to 15 calls, all the calls are done within 7 days, knocking on door to the people who don't answer. 20, you should get 3 sales. You're like, wait, what? 3 sales? Are you kidding me, Tony? No, I'm not kidding at all. You should get 3 sales. And let me tell you how these 3 sales are divided up. Okay. Road Warrior Route Planner. Yeah, I like that. Right. So let me tell you how these 3 sales should be mapped out, right? One person of those 3, they have a check on their forehead. Literally, you open the door, the check is like already out, it's on the counter. They're like saying, take my money. That's what they're saying. They're saying, take my money. 1 out of the 20 is like that. That's the easiest sale possible. I mean, that's the sale where you can make 1,000 mistakes as you're running the quote. They're ready to buy. It's just give them a stinking quote, make sure it's within their budget. They're gonna buy. 1. The second person of that 3, they have a check, but it's in their wallet. It's in their wallet, and they're not gonna take it out until you prove to them that you know what the hell you're talking about. They just want to make sure that you are someone that's credible, someone that knows what they're talking about, someone that can give them good customer service, because ultimately you're the person that represents them when they pass away. And then the third person doesn't know that they want to buy yet. That third person is still doubtful. That third person needs convincing. That third person is going to give you 2 or 3 objections that you need to overcome. That third person is probably going to reschedule on you 2 or 3 times. That third person will probably need someone in their family to be there to help with that decision. That third person you got to work for, right? That third person you got to work for. 20 leads, 3 buy. Now, 20 leads will cost you $500 to $600, right? Let's go on the high end, $600. You spend $600, right? 3 sales. Each sale should generate you about $1,000 worth of commissions. That's roughly what it is. Final expense contracts happen to be one of the highest of contracts. I mean, if you're a field manager and you're selling Oxford, you're making 110% contract. If you're a VP, you're making 120% contract, right? Our bare minimum contract for final expense, even if you're a brand new associate, is 90%. That's high. I mean, final expense contracts are typically high. So you should generate about $1,000 per client sale. Now that $1,000 could be one policy on the person. Maybe it's maybe it's a policy on the husband and the wife. But at the end of the day, you should be averaging about $1,000 per client, per household. That's what you should. Right? You're gonna land a couple slam dunks. You'll get a couple that are like, man, husband and wife together was $220 a month. You know what I'm saying? I just closed on $2,600 instead of $1,000. You're gonna get a couple of those, but if you average $1,000 per client, you're doing right. So now think about it. 20 clients, 20 leads generates 3 clients. That list cost you $600 and it made you $3,000. So if you put up 600 and make 3,000, let me ask you guys a question for those of you that are on camera. Are you upset? I'm not upset. Honestly, I'm not. I wouldn't be. I put up 600. I 5X that money and I make $3,000. I'm not upset at all. Right? So what does that mean? That means, right, if you really want to figure out how some of these insurance agents are generating $20,000 a month, just reverse engineer those numbers. Honestly, just reverse engineer those numbers. 40 leads a week is $1,200 in invested dollars. 40 leads should generate you 6 clients. 6 clients should generate you $6,000 a week. There's an average of 4 weeks in a month. $6,000 times 4 is $24,000 a month. $24,000 a month. It costs you about $5,000 in leads. to make $24,000. So ask yourself that question. Are you willing to work your way up to that kind of activity? You know, a lot of people get scared and think, oh my God, 1,000 a week in leads, but they don't understand the turnaround on it. 1,000 a week in leads is $4,000 a month in leads. That's, you know, that's 18,000 plus in net income you're making every month. Now you're a $250,000 earner. Now, I mean, congratulations, right? You're now making $250,000 a year and spending $50,000 worth of money in leads. So you're still pocketing $200,000. In the insurance industry that doesn't have high expenses. I mean, be honest, how many of you guys have high expenses, right? Like, to be an insurance agent, there's not a lot of high expenses. You need internet. I think whether you're in business or you're not in business, you're going to have an internet account at home. You need a cell phone. I think whether you're in business or not in business, you're going to have a cell phone. You need a computer. I think whether you're in business or not in business, you're going to have some type of computer. I mean, that's pretty, what, a binder, a leather binder, and maybe once every month and a half, you got to buy some new manila, what do you call it? Some legal pads and some pens. That's it though. That's pretty much it. From a uniform standpoint, you're talking about business casual, right? For final expense, kind of business casual, either some dark jeans or some black dress slacks and a polo with a logo. I mean, we sell our TKO jersey, our TKO polos for, I think, $25-$30, just kind of depending on the volume. It's not very expensive to be in this industry. So if your biggest expense is your lead cost, but you're still 5Xing that, I don't know. Let me ask you guys a question. How many here would be upset if you netted $200,000 this year just working final expense? You gross 250,000, but you spend 50,000 on leads and you netted 200,000. I don't think that's worth being upset about. Now, I will tell you this. If you're spending $50,000 on leads, but you're putting in, you're not taking my advice. You're not doing 10 to 15 calls a week per number. You're not knocking on doors to the people who don't answer. You're not calling those people within that 7-day period that you bought the lead. Then you're going to be very upset because you're going to say, man, I spent $50,000 worth on leads and I made back half of my money. It's that dramatic. It really is that. It's not like, oh, if you wait 10 days before you call the lead, you're not making 200 grand, you're making 170 grand. So you walked away from $30,000, but heck, you still made 170,000. No, if you don't call those leads 10 to 15 times and within a 7-day window of you getting that lead, if you don't do that, somebody else is gaining that client. Somebody else is going to get that client. And now you bought that money, you bought that lead for nothing. You bought that lead for nothing. Here's my philosophy. You paid for them to give you an answer. That's really what it's about. You paid for them to tell you yes. You paid for them to tell you no. What you didn't pay for is for them not to give you an answer. That's why you call that number 10 to 15 times. That's why you got to be willing to knock on that door. That's why you got to be willing to do it. Because you paid for them to give you an answer. And 17 of those 20 are going to tell you to piss off. 17 out of the 20 are going to blow you off. Maybe 3 of them are polite. I'm just being honest. Maybe 3 of them are polite. And they're like, no, thank you very much. Kelly, I really appreciate you coming out. I know it's 22 degrees outside, but no, we're good. Thank you so much. Call me next year. All the rest of them, not interested. Slammed on the door. Stop calling me. Hang up the phone. You're the 7th person to call me. Get me off your damn list. 17 of them are going to blow you off. I'm not here to, paint you up a rosy picture. Okay. But that's the difference between people who make it in this industry and walk away making 200 grand a year minimum versus people who make an attempt to this industry, but let their emotions get the best of them, don't have the thick skin and end up letting this industry get the best of them. And those people make 10 grand a year, if that, because they're not mentally prepared for the rejection. There will always be more rejection There will always be more rejection, guys, in this industry than people that say yes. It just so happens, however, that the people who say yes make you 10x the kind of money that validates the no's, validates the rejections. Simple as that. Now, how should your calendar be, right? Let's talk about your calendar for leads. There's a couple different methods to run your calendar. I'm going to tell you the one that I think is the most successful. Okay. Compartmentalization is a very, very important thing in this business. I had a conversation with an agent recently who went back to work, who has family things to take care of, and is also trying to juggle their insurance industry. And when you try to do everything every day, then everything only gets a little bit of you. But if you compartmentalize yourself, you compartmentalize your business, and you say to yourself, okay, on this day, I'm making calls. And on this day, I'm on the field. And on this day, I'm doing servicing. And on this day, I'm taking care of my family. Like if you compartmentalize your schedule, it becomes easier. Because now instead of, let's say you have 5 main responsibilities in your life, right? Instead of all 5 of those things getting 20% of your attention every day, right? What ends up happening is 2 things get 100% of your attention each day, right? So it's easier to juggle that way. Here's how you should run your schedule, okay? Mondays and Thursdays should be dial days. Those are dialing for dollars days. On those 2 days, you need to be mentally tough. You need to have hyper discipline. Okay. You need to have blocked off your calendar from distractions, no TVs on. The family needs to know you're going to be busy. Those 2 days, you each need to knock out 250 calls each of those days. Wait, what? Tony, you freaking kidding me? 500 calls a week? You want to make 200 grand, right? 250 calls on Monday, 250 calls on Thursday. But how many times should I be calling these lists? I'd be calling lists 3 times a day. I'd be calling lists 4 times a day. I'll be honest. I would. Without a doubt, I would be. You're talking about 250 calls a day, Monday, 250 calls Thursday. Now on Monday, when you're dialing to fill up your Tuesday and Wednesday. That's what you're dialing to do. You're dialing to fill up your Tuesday and Wednesday, not your Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. You're dialing to fill up Tuesday, Wednesday, because you want the next day to get a return. You're not trying, if you call somebody on Monday and schedule them for Friday, I promise you by Thursday, they forgot about the meeting. They forgot. But if you're dialing on Monday to meet with them on Tuesday or Wednesday, there's a higher likelihood that they're going to remember the meeting. Much higher likelihood. On Monday, you're dialing for Tuesday and Wednesday. On Thursday, you're dialing for Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday is your catch-up day. That's your day of rest with your family. But that also should be a day where you take maybe 2 hours to do administration, update your pipeline, remove people from lists, move people into your hot list if need be, finish processing, finish underwriting, policy, whatever it is. You should probably thank you. You should be taking about 2 hours on Sunday to collect your thoughts, reorganize your business so that by Monday, boom, you're ready to go. That's what you should be doing. Sunday's another great day to say, okay, I'm buying another batch of leads. I'm buying another batch of leads. Because here's another formula that I'm going to give you to work in the final expense game with lead gen. It's not about buying $500, $600 worth of leads, a little bit here, and then a little bit over there, and then a little bit over there. No, you have to make a committed decision every single week to buy a new batch of leads. So the same way that first batch you bought, there's a timer of working those leads and calling them 10 to 15 times and knocking on doors. You have to understand that if you're committed the way I'm explaining for you to be committed, then the very next week, there should be a whole new batch of leads that you just bought. And guess what? That timer starts for that one as well. And then the following week, there's another batch of leads you bought, and then that timer starts for that one. And you got to kind of make sure before you buy that new batch of leads that you've exhausted the hell out of these leads. You've exhausted the heck out of these leads. But you got to make a committed decision every single week to do it. It's almost like, I look at it like dollar cost averaging, right? Is anybody right now invested in crypto? Anybody right now playing in crypto? Okay. Okay. So like right now, I'm heavy in crypto. Whether the market is good or the market is bad, every week I'm buying. Every week I made a committed decision. I'm buying between 500 to 1,000 every single week, every week. Right? That's called dollar cost averaging. That's what it is. You're kind of doing the same thing with leads. So if you need to have a conversation with your significant other and say, listen, we got to change the game. We got to do something different with this industry. We got to really capitalize on this opportunity that's here right now. 76 million baby boomers are hitting retirement right now. 10,900 of them a day are turning 65. Lead generation is a very popular way of making income. Can we make a dollar commitment weekly into buying leads? Can we do that? Can we do that? Some of you might need to look at your budget and say to yourself, okay, what can we cut off? Let's cut some of the fat back and use some of that extra money to buy some leads. Some of you might need to say, I'm going to pick up a little side hustle on Saturdays and Sundays to make a little extra money so I can use that money to buy leads, flip it and buy leads, flip it and buy leads. But that's the other thing you have to do. So I'm giving you the schedule, right? I'm giving you the activity. Now I'm giving you the financial commitment that you need to find a way to do for yourself. And for those of you that are saying, man, Tony, you're talking 600 a week. I can't do that. Start with something. Start with something. I don't care if you're starting off with, $200 a week or $100 a week, right? Buy leads, flip it, buy more leads, and work your way up. Work your way up. Work your way up. But make a committed decision in your business. Some of you guys came from an organization where you guys were used to buying 10 packs to events. You were just used to it, right? Every 3 months there was an event, there was a convention. I'm buying a 10 pack. I'm buying a 10 pack. So if you were willing to make that kind of investment to your business back then, what's stopping you from making that kind of investment now into your business, leveraging something that you can flip? Guys, you know how fast you can flip a lead? You get a lead in on Monday. You meet with them on Tuesday. You submit the applications on Tuesday. You get paid for it Thursday. Because here's something else I'm going to tell you about lead gen. There's no 2 meetings with lead gen. There's 1 meeting. You know how I talk a lot about I'm a 2-meeting close agent. When I'm working in a warm market, I am a 2-meeting close agent. Why? Because chances are I'm trying to sell more than one thing. I'm trying to sell a term policy, an IUL, and a couple kid policies. And when you add up all of those little contributions, you end up getting $300-400 a month from that household. It's not easy for someone to make a $300-400 a month commitment on first meeting. Like, they want to think about it. They want to process it. They want to look at the illustrations. But when you're working final expense, it's simple. It's so simple. I'm talking about, what's your budget, Mr. Client? Great. Give me your date of birth. I'm going to run you a quick quote. This is what you qualify for. And you're getting that application right then and there. Why? Because remember, behind you are 4 or 5 other agents that are dying to meet with that client and sell that client. You got to sell them first. That's 1 meeting. Boom. Underwriting as well, just so you guys know, for lead gen, for final expense, it's so easy. There's no medical reports that you got to pull. Underwriting decisions are going to get made within 5 minutes to 5 days. And it's going to be closer to 5 minutes than 5 days on the majority of them. I'm talking about, I submitted the application. By the end of the day, you have an answer. Done. Approved. Policies being sent in the mail. Move on to the next client. I'm not going to say that there isn't a level of transactional selling there. There is. It's kind of transactional. Like, you meet the person, you quote the person, you sell the person, But I will tell you this, because there are 4 or 5 other agents behind that are going to be calling, you do want to do something from a customer service standpoint to stand out. You do. In my opinion, the Kaizen Soulmate package should be that. You should take some time with the client that you generated and schedule a meeting with them to fill out the Kaizen Soulmate packet. You should. And if, for those of you, today I'm not going to get into the Kaizen Soulmate packet in detail, but that's something that you should go into my YouTube channel and you should just research what it is. But it's a beautiful packet that we put together that it's like an emergency kit for the beneficiary. It has all the contact information. It has all the account numbers, all the policy numbers. It has the trust, not the trust. It has a will. It has a medical care directive, and it has a power of attorney document. Those 3 documents alone could cost you $750 to $1,000 from an attorney. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was Lucia recently that looked into that for herself. And she sent me a text message and said, Tony, I looked at the packet that the attorney was going to charge me and give me, and I looked at the Kaizen Soman, it was the exact same thing. I mean, when you, a power of attorney, a medical care directive, and a will, those 3, which are 3 of the 5 main documents, right? Those 3, an attorney will charge you $750 for it. We provide it in our Kaizen Soulmate packet to all of our clients. We provide it to all of our clients. Look, Lucia just texted $3,000 they wanted to charge her for those documents. It's true. An estate planning attorney will charge heavy for those documents. We provide it. So there is a level of customer service you want to provide, okay? There is a level of customer service that you want to provide, but you still want to get the transaction out the way and done. You do. You want to get that out the way and done. In, out. Thank you so much. Here's your packet. Let's set up a time to go over the packet together. Okay. Any questions before I go right into the scripts itself about the numbers that I've given you, kind of the formulas that you should be running? Any questions about that? Okay. I'll say this about the calendar. Mondays and Thursdays are dial days, 250 calls a day. Your objective is to fill 10 appointments on Tuesday, 10 appointments on Wednesday, another 10 appointments on Friday, another 10 appointments on Saturday. You're trying to fill your calendar up with 10 appointments each day. If you're dialing 2 days, if you're on the field 4 days, that's 6 days. Your 7th day, which is Sunday, that's your day for your family. That's your day for God. That's your day for your admin. That's 40 calendar appointments you've scheduled in 1 week. You know how many of those you'll keep? You'll keep 10 of them. You'll only keep about 10 of those meetings. You know how many of those appointments you'll close? You'll close 3 to 4. That's the reality. I'm giving you these numbers so you're not discouraged. You're buying 20 leads, 3 people buy. You're dialing 250 times on Monday, and you're only getting 20 people to say yes. That means out of 250 calls, more than likely 40 of them answered. That means 210 people didn't answer. 210 phone numbers didn't answer. 40 of them did. You scheduled 20. 10 on Tuesday, 10 on Wednesday. On Monday, you should first fill Wednesday up. When you're starting to dial, work it in reverse. So if it's Monday, you're filling up your Wednesday calendar. And here's why. Here's why. If for whatever reason you don't get to fill up the entire calendar and you worked all of Monday, by having your Tuesday morning still open, you can do another small dial zone session. You can do another phone zone session Tuesday in the morning. So when you're dialing on Monday, you're filling up Wednesday first, then you're filling up Tuesday afternoon before you fill up Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning should be the last thing you fill, because if you don't fill it, you can use that gap for another phone zone. Same thing for Thursday. When you're dialing on Thursday, you're filling up all of Saturday first, then Friday afternoon before you fill up Friday morning. That's the way you're always doing it all the time. That's the way you're running your calendar every single stinking time. Anybody have any questions about that? 40 appointments should equate to 10 people that you keep meetings with. 10 meetings you keep should equate to 3 to 4 sales.
I have a rookie question. So when we call people, it hasn't been mentioned, maybe it's assumed. If they don't answer, do we leave a message? And if we're calling 10 times, do we leave 10 messages, or do we leave a message the first time and then no message? No. I'm just curious as to why.
You're going to hear different perspectives. I'll tell you what I typically do. I don't leave a voice message, but I'll leave a text message. Now, here's the other thing I'm going to tell you. I am notorious about leveraging Jarvis. Okay. Jarvis is the key, because with Jarvis, imagine on one screen, your computer screen, you have a section on that screen where you can text message, another section where you can email, another section where you're making the phone call, and another section where you're looking at the person's contact information all on one screen while the phone is dialing. That auto dialer. So what I'll typically do, just so you understand, while the phone is ringing, I've already typed up on the text message, right, what I'm going to send, because when the phone goes to voicemail, all I'm literally doing is I'm hanging up. The auto dialer is immediately calling the next number, but I'm leaving a text message to the number behind that. And the text message that I'm leaving, just so you know, like, let's say your name is on my list, Kelly, right? The text message I'm leaving is, hey, Kelly, give me a call when you can. It's so, I just use the person's first name. Hey, give me a call when you can. Because think about this for a minute, guys. If you get a text message right now on an unknown number, but they used your first name and said, hey, give me a call when you can. What's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to reply, who is this? That's what I'm looking for. I'm not trying to give them I'm not trying to make the sale on the text message. I'm just trying to get them to reply.
Okay.
That's why, who is this? Boom, you replied. I know you're on the other line. I know you're on the other line. Now you know what I'm going to do when someone replies, who is this? I'm going to call them back. I'm going to call them right back. If they don't answer, then my second text message will be a little bit more, hey, how are you? My name is Tony Martinez. I'm with the state underwriters department. You called inquiring about, funeral or final expense insurance. Right? But that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Call, my text message. Hey, Rob, give me a call when you can. Hey, Kelly, give me a call when you can. Hey, Tanisha, give me a call when you can. Give me a call when you can. First name, give me a call when you can. Any questions? Okay. Let me go over the script a little bit here. I'm going to share the screen here so you guys can see where I capture this script. So if you're in our TKO website, you can go right here to scripts. And I think what I'll do for the next training, so you guys know, is I'm actually going to do a Jarvis session. I'll actually do a live Jarvis session so you guys can see it. We have plenty of videos on it. I live and breathe that concept, guys. I'm not even going to lie. The auto dialer is enormous. And just so you guys know, the auto dialer leaves a voicemail. When you click over to the next call, it leaves a voicemail. What's going on here? Why can't I log in? Hang on one second. Thank you. The auto dialer, when you're using the auto dialer with Jarvis and you click to the next call, it leaves a voicemail behind. It's not your voice. There's two voices. There's my voice and there's Sandra's voice. When Sandra's voice is being sent out, it's as though she's your administrative assistant. When my voice is being sent out, it's that I'm the department head and I'm just calling. And both of our calls, both of our voicemails are more like quality control customer service inquiries. Right? That's what the voicemails are. Okay. There we go. Okay, good. So I went into the scripts tab, and what I'm looking for is, let me see here, Kaizen, so many words, TKO lead scripts. Right here is a script that we use. Okay, so I'm going to go over it with you, but I'll be honest with you, I'm going to probably tap into more of the objections than anything, because the only way you guys are going to master this script is by just making a decision to do the script, to just role play, right? So let me zoom in here a little bit. Here we go. So John is the number I'm calling. Tony obviously is the agent, me, and the source is a life insurance lead, right? So ring, ring. Hello, is this John? John is in red, right? John is red. So John responds, yes, it is. John, thanks for taking my call. My name is Tony, and I'm calling from the state of Florida Field Underwriters Department in your area. My license number is P104692. I have your current address listed as 123 Palm Boulevard. Is that correct? Yes. Let me tell you why I do that first. I want them to verify their residential address, because I want to make sure that if they tell me no on the phone, right, or if they do schedule with me, I know exactly where they reside. I already know that piece. Okay. If you notice, my introduction is I'm with the state of Florida Field Underwriters Department. I'm a state official, using it that way, right? I give them my license number as well too, to give more validation to who I am. Okay. Is this address correct? Yes, it is. Someone, yeah. Okay. What time we at? Okay. Someone at your residence inquired over the need for our state approved life insurance, mortgage protection plans, or funeral expense program. I'm making a quality control call to see if someone from our office has already met with you. Look at the script that I'm using. I'm using that because if someone did happen to call this person faster than me, I want to be able to know that. Did someone reach out to you? No, they haven't. Goodness, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, first, I want you to know I'm not a telemarketer. I'm a field underwriter. My job is to let you know what benefits you qualify for based on the state that you live in. Right now, if someone says, yes, someone already did speak to me, right? Here's the script. That's great. My job is to now go over the state approved legal packet that includes a medical care directive, a power of attorney, and a last will and testament. So if you notice, whether they tell me, yes, someone's called me, or no, someone's called me, I'm still engaging. If they say, yes, someone's already called me, I'm still going to go in and I'm still going to try to sell on that medical care packet. Okay. Okay. And the reason why is because I want to review what policy was sold. Believe it or not, there's a lot of garbage policies that are sold out there. Sometimes someone will sell somebody an accidental death benefit policy, claiming for it to be a life insurance policy when it's not. I want to know what was sold. I want to know if I can bring something better to the table, because if I can give that client $5,000 of additional insurance for the same price they're already paying, don't you think that they'll probably do business with me? Right. So whether they say yes or no, I'm still engaging. So my first question is, hey, has someone called you yet? If they say yes, someone has, that's great. Right. My job is to now to go over the state approved legal packet that includes a medical care directive, a power of attorney, and a last will and testament. Okay. I may be able to also save you an additional 20 to 30% on your current insurance premiums. Let me ask you a few questions in order to determine what benefits are available to you. I have your date of birth as this. Is that correct? Yes. In the last 2 years, have you used any type of tobacco? Oh, how much insurance did you recently get? And how much are you currently paying? Do you happen to know which company you got approved with? I'm already qualifying the person on the phone, right? What is great is that I recently met with someone who got that very same plan, and I was able to help them save quite a bit of money. Plus, this packet I'm bringing, this packet will bring an enormous amount of value for the beneficiaries and the clients that will need it the most. So look, if you notice in this yellow script, they've already said, yes, someone's already contacted me. Yes, someone's already bought. I've already bought. That's the number one objection that most agents tell me. I called the person and they said they were already taken care of. So here's your way to still get in the door. I mean, even with all life insurance, guys, when someone says to me, I already have life insurance, that doesn't mean that the door is closed. If anything, the door is even wider open. Why? Because number one, that person's a believer of insurance. Now it's just a matter of seeing if you can give them a better insurance than what they currently have. That's what you're trying to do there, right? Now, let me move into the next part of the script. Let me ask you a few questions in order to determine what benefits are available to you. This is if they say, no, no one's reached out to me yet. So the yellow, someone's reached out to me. Here's my script. The black, no one's reached out to me. So I'm still asking the same questions, right? I have your date of birth as such and such. In the last 2 years, have you been a tobacco user? No. Okay, would anywhere from $2,000 to $30,000 of coverage cover the cost for your burial and final expenses? Yes. Based on this information, there are several options available to you. We have many state-approved methods to deliver your plans and still maintain social distancing. Our primary method is where I would schedule a virtual meeting using a platform called Zoom. Are you computer savvy? If they say no, no problem. Our next method would be over the phone, okay? But any programs you decide on will need a signature via email. Do you have a way of gaining access to your email? Right? If you prefer face-to-face method, then I would set up a scheduled visit with your home where I would remain in my car and you would remain in your home. I would verify your identification outside of your residence, and then we can transact business and still maintain social distancing. Which of these methods do you prefer? So if you notice, I'm trying to maximize time. Let's try Zoom. Oh, I'm not comfortable with Zoom. Can we do it over the phone? Oh, I'm not comfortable over the phone. Okay, let's do it face to face, but I still want to be respectful and let's do that and still practice social distancing. Boom, boom, boom. Right now, again, for you agents, if you have no problem whatsoever, we're leaving now, baby girl. Okay. If you have no problem, right, wanting to do everything face to face, then skip Zoom, skip phone, and go right to the face to face meeting. Skip it. But if you're someone like me that wants to maximize my time, I'd rather have 10 meetings back to back to back to back to back without having a 30-minute or 45-minute drive time in between. I'm going to try to go for the Zoom first. Don't just assume that they're not good at Zoom, because I know plenty of people in their 60s and 70s that are pretty decent with technology. Don't just assume that they won't prefer to do a phone conversation. Believe it or not, that age bracket is very sensitive to COVID-19. They might want to do something like that before they meet you face to face. That's just the truth. So if I don't ask, I don't know. Okay. I'm currently scheduled to be out in your area tomorrow and Wednesday afternoon. Look at the script. I'm currently scheduled, right? I'm not saying, hey, can we meet on Tuesday, Wednesday? I'm saying, hey, I'm already scheduled to be out there Tuesday and Wednesday. I need about 15 to 30 minutes to discuss the options. Which of those days is better for you? I'm not giving them a choice as to whether it's yes or no. I'm giving them a choice as to which day they prefer. Right? Tomorrow works best. Okay, great. Now, you go through the process. Does 7 o'clock work or 8 p.m.? Something you need to know in sales is you give them choices, but the choices never no. I'm scheduled out there. Do you want to meet Tuesday or Wednesday? Wednesday. Okay, great. Morning or afternoon? You have choices, but the choice is not no. Oh, afternoon. Okay, 7 or 8 o'clock. I'm giving them one or the other, but either answer that they give me is going to be in favor of what I'm trying to accomplish, which is a sale. Right? As you know, I'll be driving a gray Ford F-150. Aside from me staying in my car as an option to practice social distancing, I can also meet you at your home with a mask and gloves and sit 6 feet apart from the dining room table, or I can bring a fold-out table and 2 chairs and we can meet outside your home. Which do you prefer? Field agents, you should have 2 fold-out chairs, 1 table, masks, gloves in your car ready to go, because you don't know how sensitive they are to the concept of social distancing and COVID-19. You don't know. Some of them are going to be like, I don't care, come in. And if you're that person where you don't care, then go for it. But don't just impose your view on it on them. Always have the precautions, the preparedness of whatever they prefer. Great. I look forward to meeting you tomorrow at 8 p.m. at 123 Palm Boulevard. Have a nice day. And then look at the objections. Right? Objections. I'm not interested. I can understand that. Many people tell me they're not interested because they already have coverage. The reason for my call is because I work in the department that provides a state-approved power of attorney, medical care directive, and last will and testament. These products usually run close to $1,000 if you obtain them from a private attorney. We're offering them as a courtesy to our residents of the state due to our recent learnings that many people don't have these packets in place when they pass. Have you obtained your packet yet? Notice, I'm always trying to find a way in the door. I already have coverage. That's great. My department, the department I work in, specializes with clients who have insurance in place and showing them how to save 30 to 40% on their existing premiums. Would a 30 to 40% savings on premiums benefit you? In addition, we have a new state-approved legal package, which includes 3 major documents. That's your giveaway. That legal packet, the Kaizen Soulmate packet, is the giveaway to get people to say, I want it because it's free. And I see the value in it, right? I don't remember filling out the form. I can understand that, okay? That happens at times, or perhaps it was one of your loved ones who filled out the form. In addition, just so you know, you do qualify for a free state-approved legal packet that includes 3 major documents. Boom, 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 boom. I'm speaking a little bit fast, but I'm going to tell you, when I'm actually in script, I slow down my script and I enunciate. Hi, my name is Tony Martinez. I'm with the state of Florida, state-approved insurance department. My license number is P104692. I'm calling because you recently made an inquiry for the need for funeral and burial expense insurance. You see how I slow my tone down and I enunciate because I want to make sure they can hear me? I asked to be taken off the list. Yes, you can. I just have to advise you that other organizations may have received your information and might call as well. But I'll make sure that my organization doesn't call you again. In addition, I want you to know you do qualify for a free state-approved legal packet that includes these 3 major documents. I'm always talking about that free giveaway because I want to see if I can turn the I'm not interested into a, oh yes, come on by. Because if I get to come on by, I'm not just going to give them the packet. I'm going to tell them this packet, okay, this packet goes to anybody that's willing to let us review their existing policies. Can you talk to me about what you currently have? Oh, I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this. If you could find them something better, they'll take action with you. They'll take action with you. Now, before I get off, does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. Here's your homework assignment. Here's your homework assignment, okay? Sit with your loved ones and figure out what your budget is, right? Come up with a budget for yourself. I'm not playing with any of you guys when I tell you right now, 2022 needs to be a very different version of yourself. If you're coming into 2022 with the same habits of 2021, you're going to get the exact same result. There is a level of investing into your business that you need to be willing to do. So if you need to cut the fat back a little bit on one place or another in order to come up with the dollars you need to buy some leads, then do it. But come up with that number. Number two, revisit the notes that you just took today. What I talked about, 500 calls a week, 250 on Monday, 250 on Thursday. Arrange your schedule to fit that type of schedule. Arrange it so that it fits that type of schedule no matter what. Make a commitment with your family that on Mondays and Thursdays, those are dial days and you're not going to get disrupted with anything, right? For the parents that, you have kids at home, you've got to prep food, you got to cook. Listen, do it the night before or make that the day that you buy pizza, but don't distract your Monday and Thursday from accomplishing 250 calls each day, no matter what. That I find that to be the one thing that people will always find an excuse not to finish. Finish it. Homework number 3, I want you to role play that script. Print it out, and I want you to role play it and role play it and role play it. Not 2 times, not 3 times, not 4 times. I want you to role play it 5, 6, 7 times. And then you know what I want you to do? I want you to be willing to fall forward as fast as you stinking well can. It's not hard to sell final expense, guys. It's not hard to become mentally tough and recognize the numbers as they are. 20 leads, 3 people say yes, 17 people blow you off. Get thick-skinned about it. 10 to 15 calls per number. And guess what? Those people who don't answer their phone, let's get ready to go out on Saturdays and go knock on their doors. The next training that I'm going to do is going to be based on the actual client meeting, followed by what I do when I knock on the door. So you guys are prepped for what that looks like. You're prepped for what it looks like in the meeting. You're prepped for what it looks like when you knock on the door. That's the next training that I'm going to do. I want everybody to give me their 2 biggest takeaways on the Voxer today. And I'll see you guys on the leaders board. Let's go out there. Let's start seeing some leads get purchased and start seeing you guys making $10, $15, $20,000 a month, because it's such an easy thing to do in the final expense game. Have a good one. Be blessed. And I'll see you guys later.